Quick, think of your favorite martial arts actor while I play this footage from Enter the Dragon. Chances are, some of you said Bruce Lee. He certainly was accomplished, but did you ever think about who trained him? Yip Man, a grandmaster of the Wing Chun style of martial arts, personally trained Bruce Lee and has a long, interesting life story as well. Yip Man lived in a town called Foshan in China when the Japanese invaded in World War II during the Sino-Japanese War, and was a spectacularly talented martial artist. So much so that the Japanese wanted him to train the occupying military police, but when he refused, he was forced to flee Foshan. The film is based loosely on the story behind that, as well as his fall from the bourgeois lifestyle into one of poverty when the communists forced him into exile. Ip Man the film takes these threads and mixes them into a very pro-China, pro-martial arts movie, and oh my god, are you in for an amazing time. The blood, sweat, and tears that went into this movie just drip from every scene. The sets are amazing, the acting is top-notch, and the music meshes perfectly, driving the emotions of every second. And since this is a martial arts movie, we'll have to talk about that, but we'll get to that shortly. The idea of a biopic about Yip Man's life first came up in 1998, but when the production company funding the project closed, the idea was abandoned until 2007. Director Wilson Yip was brought on to lead the project and work closely with Yip Man's sons. Donnie Yen was cast to play the title character, and they chose very wisely. The man pulls off a wonderfully patient and talented martial artist, but still has his share of flaws, like how his focus isn't on his family, thus giving him a chance for growth. Other cast members include Gordon Lam as Lee, the police officer who had to side with the Japanese during the war and acts as a translator, Hiroyuki Ikiuchi as Mira, the Japanese general who heads the occupation of the area and is a martial artist himself, and Simon Yam as Chao Ching Chuen, a businessman and close friend to Ip Man. While the film is based on Yip Man's life, much of it is fictionalized. For example, Yip Man wasn't forced to work as a coolie, just eating a bowl of rice a day. He also never faced down a Japanese general, but that does make for a more dramatic showdown. Yet these changes mold into a different story, which still make for a fun time. The story follows Yip Man as he grows from a somewhat self-centered master to a pillar of resistance in the community. He lives very well in his own mansion with a wife and son, but all he really cares about is his fighting, constantly practicing, and fending off challengers. However, when the Japanese take over, he loses everything but the respect the town still holds for him, and when he stands up against the oppressors, he unwittingly spearheads a movement, learning to move past his isolation and teach Wing Chun to whoever wants to learn. Ip Man isn't the only deep character though. Inspector Lee goes through his own change after being forced to see that cowing down to the Japanese isn't the only option he has. General Mira is also great. Yes, he wants power and control and will do horrible things to maintain it, but he also has a distinct sense of honor as a martial artist to the point where he threatens to execute his colonel for sullying his dojo. I was disappointed that Kam Shan Chu, the violent martial artist from the north, wasn't given a chance to turn himself around and join the resistance though. He's used as more of a roadblock to push others to learn Wing Chun, when the Japanese troops could have just as easily been used. As the film was originally shot in Cantonese, it does pose an interesting question to an American. Subbed or dubbed? Well, I'm an old-fashioned otaku, so I grew up with subbed, but that's just my personal preference. Here's a scene in the middle of the movie where Ip Man enters a Japanese dojo and challenges them to a fight.
Give me 10 of them!
You crazy? Please don't.
I want to fight 10!
Honestly, the dialogue sounds a lot better in Cantonese than it does in the awkwardly performed English.
What age is this, huh? Age of Kung Fu? No, it's the age of guns! See? Guns! Guns, do you see that?
Yeah, it's a little stilted, but I guess either way works, depending on how you want to enjoy the movie. Now, anyone who's watched my other videos knows that I'm a sucker for well-orchestrated music, and yeah, I'm a sucker for this soundtrack as well. The soundtrack was originally composed by Kenji Kawai, who also did work on Ghost in the Shell, Ranma 1/2, and the live-action adaptation of Gantz. The music is a mix of orchestral and choral, as well as traditional Chinese music, giving a sense of awe in the calmer scenes or incredible tension in the fight scenes. And alright, I've put this off long enough. Let's talk about the action. The choreography was directed by Sammo Hung, who has previous experience bringing Wing Chun to life in movies, and damn does it show. General Mira, Kam Shan-chu, and of course Ip Man fit their forms very well with fast, precise action that you'd expect from a martial arts master. Hiroyuki Ikeuchi even brings his experience as a black belt in judo into the movie, though he did admit to having trouble working with the film's choreographer. And it's not just the individual skill that each actor brings to the movie. Now, I've already mentioned the fight halfway through the movie in which Ip Man takes on 10 karate black belts. That scene alone is quite possibly the most amazing fight scene I've ever seen in my life. Actor Donnie Yen spent months training for this role, learning Wing Chun and eating only one meal a day to better exemplify his character. He called it the most emotionally and mentally difficult role of his career. The fighting here is so impressive that I will not show anything in the second half of the movie just so it doesn't get spoiled. You'll just have to see Ip Man yourself, but trust me, it gets way, way better than anything you've seen thus far. One thing to note though is that for as impressive as the fighting is, Ip Man is never really faced with a challenge. Not in any duel at least. However, the drama that he's going through does balance that out a little, though it would be nice to see him face a tougher opponent, someone who could actually land a real punch. It's a solid movie with a great cast and crew, incredible action, and a gripping story to watch. The action is breathtaking, the characters are endearing, and the story is incredible. Ip Man is currently available for streaming on Netflix or purchase from Amazon. You won't be disappointed.